Back to Omaha with Splash on Deck, presented by Xfinity. We're getting ready for night 4 of the finals, and this lady right here, Miss Katie Ledecky, is going to be swimming. Watch her last night in the semifinals of the women's 200 freestyle. Katie is just amazing. You can always tell where she is by that big stroke. She's got a nice loping stroke, very easy. And she came into the wall with a nice, easy stroke last night, just kind of getting into the finals with a 155.83. She is the top seed in that 200. Now, tonight in the 200, she's going to swim that at 7:21 p.m. local time. That's the 200 final. And just about an hour later, she's got to jump in and swim the final of the 1500 freestyle. So she has got a lot of work cut out for her tonight. And it is going to be so much fun to watch. So Miss Katie Ledecky, we're going to see her in 2 finals. One of the things that I love about swimming and watching women swimming and watching Katie Ledecky is how fast she is. But you got to wonder what it's like swimming in a heat with Katie Ledecky. We're about to find out.
So in 2016 trials, I was in the same heat as Katie in the 400 free because it was circle seated. And the ready room, I was okay. I have a distinct memory of swimming the actual race. And I was in lane 1 and she was in lane 4. So the camera was like moving. I could see the camera moving on the rally. And I remember coming in to the 5-meter mark and the camera was moving the other direction. And that is a moment that I will never forget because I was like, wonder where Katie is. And I see the camera moving the other way. I'm like, ah, yes.
I guess if you can't see Katie, you can always find the camera that's following her. So that's pretty good. But here's something that's going to be fun. Erica Sullivan, who you just saw there, is not going to have to watch the camera tonight because she is in lane 5 right next to Katie so they can look right into each other's eyes. So it's going to be an awesome race tonight. But we had some awesome races last night, and we have some new Olympians, and we've got to catch you up on what happened last night. Let's start off with the women. And we had just an awesome 100-meter breaststroke race. Here we go. Does anyone have any surprise? As soon as you see that Lily King right there, you know what's going to happen. And look at that, 3 strokes in, she's already so far ahead with that fast turnover, that whippy kick. She doesn't bob up and down so much. Look at her, and look at it. She comes into the wall. You can see she's kind of nice and easy getting into there, 104.7. She is, of course, your top seed, probably going into the Olympics is my guess because she is just amazing. And then, of course, we had the women's 100 backstroke where we crowned another Olympian, and everyone was off to a beautiful start. Start so important in the backstroke. And there they are doing those whippy dolphin kicks, just looking awesome. And one of the things that was cool was Burkhoff. If you remember that name, David Burkhoff was an Olympian in the 80s. And he was just spectacular. His daughter was in that heat. But there we go. It was Reagan Smith who ended up taking the win. She was so happy because you know what? Reagan Smith, you are now a U.S. Olympian. Oh, and all of her friends and family, so excited to see her. Oh, there is nothing better than that. I will tell you what, after you make the team and your teammates and your family get to hug you, it is the most surreal feeling ever. It is just spectacular. Something else that's really cool is we also had some men that swam last night, so we need to tell you who made your Olympic team. And here we go, watching the men's highlights from last night. And then we had the men's 100 backstroke. Now, this was a field where we had so many stars in here. We had Ryan Murphy, we had Townley Haas, we had Matt Grievers, also we had Michael Andrews. So this was going to be a tight race. And as you can see right here, it is a tight race, but Ryan Murphy, of course, leading that field. And there he is winning. And he said, that's right, baby. That's right, baby. You are an Olympian for the 2nd time. Men's 200 freestyle. Remember now, we're not just filling the individual here. We're going to take the top 4 because we've got the 800 free relay that we need to fill up. So anybody here could have done this. We had so many amazing swimmers. And as you can see right here, Kieran Smith right there, number 1, Townley Haas. We had Kibler, and we also had Andrew Seliskar, who made that team. There's Andrew Seliskar celebrating with his Bear teammates. And here comes Haas and Kibler. Both of them are Texas Longhorns celebrating with their team as well. Oh, so exciting. That's like the best part of Olympic trials, right? Is when you get to celebrate with all of your people. But you know what? We have a storied history in our country that I don't know if a lot of people know what it is. So we're about ready to tell you exactly what that story is. USA Swimming has a record of excellence in the men's backstroke events that is unmatched in the sport.
The two vectors are going back and forth. And here we go, right to the wall. Will Griever's long arms help him to the touch? It is Murphy. Murphy by 4/100ths.
For 25 years, the gold medal has been the standard from Jeff Rouse and Brad Bridgewater to Lenny Krayzelberg, then passed to Aaron Pearsall, Ryan Lochte, Matt Grievers, Tyler Clary, and most recently to Ryan Murphy.
American backstroke is, it's incredibly dominant. 6 Olympics in a row in both the 100 and 200 backstroke. That's just an incredible period of dominance that, that we haven't seen in other strokes.
Reaching a level of dominance that has never been seen before, and it's a streak that they hope to continue into Tokyo this summer. And what a streak it has been. Look at this men's backstroke. Since 96, you've got Jeff Rouse, Brad Bridgewater, Lenny Krayzelberg, Aaron Pearsall, Matt Grievers, Tyler Clary, and of course now Ryan Murphy. But there's someone there that has more names up there than anybody else. That was Aaron Pearsall, and Aaron is with us right now. Aaron,
hi.
So good to see you.
I know. Been long enough.
It's been way too long. Yes. I want to say it's been since the 2000 games.
I want to say it's quite possible, but even probably since then. I know my memory's going, but and then you had Kim Vandenberg on the other day,
yes.
And she's one of my very best friends, and once I heard that, I was like, oh, I would love to be on Amy's little show.
I love it.
And so, but Kim had the insight to just be like, hey, you two get together,
right?
And I let Kim take care of my organizational stuff.
It's probably smart.
It is, and so it's really nice to be here.
That's cool. Now, what is it like for you to be here? Do you still get nervous when you come through? Because I get nervous still when I see the pool.
Yeah. It's reflexive. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, I'm not going to call it PTSD, but it's reflexive. Like it's like this natural kind of reaction. And then I go, oh, I don't need that.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, you don't need that. And then you can, once you kind of see it come up, it's nice to be able to appreciate what everyone's going through.
Sure.
And to be able to let it go too. And
right.
Because it is a very dynamic week of lots of emotions, mm-hmm. And one of the tricks is to let it all. I was walking over with John Urbanchek tonight, and John's been around a long time, and we were talking about the dynamism of the meet, and John just goes, like, let it wash away. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly right. You know, it's a long meet.
It is.
And so when you're sitting up there watching, you better just take each little event at a time and let it go, kind of thing.
That's kind of how you've always been, though, just real chill, real zen. I always appreciated that because I was the opposite of that.
I'm glad it looks that way.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I don't. I mean, it's an effort. Right?
Really?
Well, it's an effort to be present.
You know what it is? So many people are not present.
Yes.
Right?
Well, sure. And I think that it's an effort to do that, and I think certain situations can help you be present.
Okay.
On their own, and other ones you have to really kind of come to it. You have to work at it, and so being here and watching, and what I've noticed too is it's easier to get nervous watching people you care about.
Correct.
Than it is, of course, and you just ask any parent that. Than it is actually swimming sometimes, even though you can get nervous swimming, but it's the lack of control. So
that's what it is, right? You lose control when
right.
you're up in the stands. You're in control when you're down there on the deck.
Right. You're at the mercy of all of the swings of emotion, and when you're on deck, it's nice to, well, especially when you're swimming, if you have anything about you, you kind of almost subconsciously ignore the ups and the downs because you can't go there. when you just can't. It's too much. I
No.
mean, you try to. You want to be there for people.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure you keep yourself from exhausting yourself. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's go out to the arena, check on what's going out tonight. I want to talk to you in just a minute.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right, let's do it.
Athletes that came up this very lift as they punched their ticket to Tokyo.
3 first-time Olympians, Andrew Salazar, Drew Kibler in the 200 freestyle. They got 3rd and 4th. And then we also had Reagan Smith in the 100 backstroke. They all got to come up last night. That was cool. We also had 3 veterans, second-time Olympians last night. Ryan Murphy in the 100 backstroke, Lily King in the 100 breaststroke. And who was the last one? Oh, Townley Haas.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, your boy
of
Townley.
course, a Longhorn. I said it. There it is. But yeah, it's awesome up here, man. And then when the crowd starts going crazy, I mean, it's really cool to see the athletes come up here.
And then you had Kieran Smith, who was our first athlete to qualify in 2 events. 400 free, 200 free. That's going to be an electric 4x200 freestyle men's relay. That's going to be really exciting. And then if you weren't with us last night, we had the GOAT, Michael Phelps, on the pool deck with us last night. It was so incredible. It was amazing to hear his shout out to Omaha, how much he missed being here and how amazing the fans have been and what it's been like for him, to watch it as a fan and as a dad bringing Boomer. So that was really special as well.
And I really thought he enjoyed the night, I was wondering if he was going to have trouble, I thought I was going to get an arm slap out of him or something up there in section 102 or something. But it was nice to see him up there. It was nice to hear him give the crowd what they, the excitement. And
Right.
I think he was really enjoyed his time here in Omaha.
Well, we've had to wait an extra year for the Tokyo Olympics, but now we are only 37 days away.
That's nuts. It's like counting down every day we talk. But let's talk a little bit about the selection process. We have 26 men and 26 women that'll make this team. If you win your event, you're automatically qualified for the Olympics. And as we start to get the doubles, like you're talking about in Kieran Smith, we'll start to see those second place finishers start to make the Olympic team. If you get top 4 in the 100 freestyle or 200 freestyle, you're also making Olympic team. So we had the 200 freestyle final tonight, women. Those top 4 women will make the team.
And we got a great glance of the events that are going to be new to Tokyo. The women have the 1500, which we'll see Katie Ledecky swim in tonight. And then the men, they'll be competing in the 800-meter freestyle for the first time. We saw the men's prelims of that this morning, and they'll swim finals tomorrow. So in addition to those events, there'll also be the 4x100 mixed relay. So the roster still has to stay at
awesome
52, even though there's some new events.
And all of this coverage is on NBC tonight, 7 p.m. Central. Make sure you guys are on your couches watching it. Get up with this crowd. The crowd, the athletes are feeding off this crowd. And we're going to get started here real soon.
All right, so excited to hear what they have to say. It's so interesting. We're calling this the 2020 Olympic trials. So I feel that we are in a time machine because we're really in 2021, right? I'm going to take you and you into another time machine. We're going to go back to 2000.
Yay.
Yeah.
Turns for home with hopes of another Olympic gold. 15 meters left, and no one is going to beat Lenny Kreiselberg. This isn't even close. Kreiselberg's going to pick up his second Olympic gold. And Pearson's going to win the silver. Pearson is second. Kreiselberg gets it done with a new Olympic record time. And relief again for Kreiselberg. Pearson gets the silver.
I love that shot. You could see your eyes looking back at the water. When you watch that, thoughts?
Lots. I think it was as a young kid, trying not to take it for granted.
Yeah.
Really being quite taken by Lenny's confidence, and just the maturity and trying to absorb that from him as best I could. And I was so relieved at the end of that race. I feel like I could have kissed Lenny on the lips, kind of thing, where I'm just like, oh my goodness, but in these lovely memories of swimming in Australia, where it's where everyone knows your name and what you're doing, and it was kind of like a going home to some degree. It was strange, and I remember that. It still is for all of us swimmers going to a place like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where you get off the plane and there are people there, and you're like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Swimmers are on the sides of buses.
Yeah.
And they know your names, and the Aussie team was really good then. And you know, it's interesting. I'm glad they're good now.
Yeah, I am too.
And I've been waiting for them to be good. Our team needs a nice little fire under their tuchuses every once in a while. And I'm glad they get that.
I love that. Tuchus has been used on the show, you guys.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So what are you doing now, Aaron?
So I live in Hawaii,
Yes,
actually.
you do.
And, you know, I continued my little, I'm still around the water. I get in the water every day.
Okay.
And find that lovely. And I've always had a thing for environmentalism. And my thing is simply about sustainability and the oceans and, you know, proselytizing a certain kind of perspective and understanding of just how we use things and being more conscientious about what we use and how we use things. And so I'm very a huge advocate for just being thoughtful and what we consume and how we use things. And part of it is because where I exist and where I've existed most of my life is by the ocean, and we all see the impacts that right. And if you live in a community by the ocean, you know what every river leads to one, and so I love that, and amongst other things, but you know, still love being involved even peripherally with the sport. It's nice. That's another family.
It's so good to have you back, Aaron. I cannot thank you enough for coming up here. You are one of my favorite people of all time ever.
Likewise, actually.
I just think you are awesome, and I wish you continued success. And when I come to Hawaii, just so you know,
when
I come to Hawaii, I am crashing at your place. So
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we're going to check out what's going to happen tonight in the pool with the women with Caitlin right now.
Yay, go Caitlin. Have fun.
In the announcer's booth with Kevin Cargill. Kevin, we have a very action-packed night for the ladies.
Oh my goodness,
Let's get right into this because there's a lot of swimming to be had.
Yeah, starting things off with the 200 freestyle. We've got to find a 800 freestyle relay. We have a lot of really good swimmers in the water tonight. I don't even have time to highlight people specifically for their individual amazing talents. So Katie Ledecky, Allison Schmidt, both of them have the U.S. Open record. Maybe somebody breaks the U.S. Open record again tonight. I don't know. Bella Sims, the only sub-20-year-old in the heat, and she's 16. So I'd love to see her just show up on that 800 free relay too.
And then this is a big night for Katie because she has the 200 freestyle and then she has the 1500, which is a new event. Yeah. That's a big double. How much time and how much energy do you think she's going to have to, conserve for that mile? 1500.
Well, I mean, it's Katie Ledecky,
yes.
So her very pedestrian swim in prelims was also one of the top 20 times in history.
Wow.
So I don't know how much she has to save.
Right.
I think she's going to throw down in the 200 free. I think that's what everyone kind of wants to see, but it's Ledecky. Maybe she'll throw down in both.
She sure will. 200 IM, one of my favorite races to watch. This is a tight field.
I love this race tonight. This is stacked. Mm-hmm. This is going to be fun. We're going to put two really great women forward at the Olympics.
Absolutely.
No idea who they're going to be, though. I mean, we've got Melanie Margalis, you've got Alex Walsh, Madison Cox, and you still have Tori Husk, who's having a pretty good meet so far.
Absolutely.
Maybe double down and have two events right off the bat.
And that would be impressive for her, especially, she's so young, really blasting into the scenes, but she has no pressure on her right now. She's already qualified for the team, so I definitely think we should keep our eyes on Tori as well.
Go for it.
And we talked all about the 1500 real briefly. I mean, obviously Katie Ledecky, all eyes on her, but there's definitely contentions, a lot of girls that can get in there for second.
We got to figure out the other 1500 swimmer, assuming that the roster works out that way. So Erica Sullivan is a name that she had a great prelim swim. It was really fun to watch. And then we have open water swimmers that have already made it, but they're in there too, Haley Anderson and Ashley Twitchell.
And then the semifinal tonight, 200 butterfly.
I'm just watching Haley Flickener. She is on form and she's going to rock tonight.
Absolutely. As you can tell, a lot of races for the women tonight. Men with Michael and Brendan preview coming up next.
4.
And then 5, turn,
5.
kick.
We got chased by these wild coyotes.
We were following her because she had beef jerky in her pocket.
Someone behind me, come on.
Pick that up, right there.
As long as you keep making the internet an amazing place to be, we'll keep bringing you a faster, more secure, and more amazing internet. Xfinity, the future of awesome. Once we start swimming,
We're in for life.
We swim with goals.
Let's get it going. Come on.
With joy.
With our community.
a community that believes swimmers don't just do something fun.
They become something exceptional.
Come join us here, where we love this sport.
And welcome back to a Splash on Deck presented by Xfinity. We are here at the 2020 Olympic swimming trials. And what's more important at Olympic swimming trials than the pool and the water? The timing system, of course. All right, so you guys know we love to take you behind the scenes and see what's going on around the pool deck, or as we're talking right now, below the pool deck, to let you in on the ins and outs. And that's why we're here with Matt Murphy right now from Omega Timing. How are you?
I'm great, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. This has to be a stressful situation down here because these people's Olympic berths sometimes are hinging on hundredths of a second.
No, absolutely. It can get very stressful, but for those of us that do this for a living, if you treat every swim meet you do like Olympic trials just becomes just another swim meet for us.
So how many computers do you have down here that are timing a single race?
Okay, so to do the actual timing, we are only using 3. We're using a main system and a backup system, and then as you see, if you watch trials, there's no officials pressing buttons on deck. So we're using our high-speed video system, which syncs with the start and records at 100 frames a second. So to answer your question, 3 computers are using to actually do the physical timing during the meet.
So you're talking about an overhead camera. Can you actually see if someone false started?
So you can. It's not the best angle for that.
Okay.
You know, just with the starter sitting on the side, that's where they view this way. And with our shooting down, it's not the best angle to see a false start. But we can see 2-hand touches and things like that as well, yeah.
Do you call people on it? Are you allowed to?
So we're not allowed to call people on it, but we have it to really, it's the benefit to help the swimmer too, right? In case someone saw something or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, something that I've always wondered is how sensitive are these timing pads? I mean, I used to hear rumors back when I was a kid that Matt Biondi and Tom Jager were swimming so fast that the wave actually stopped the time before they got there. True? No?
No. They are very sensitive. Don't get me wrong. It takes about 5 pounds of pressure to activate a touchpad in the water. That's FINA standards. So to equate that to everyday life, that's about what it would take on a manual typewriter. So an old-time manual typewriter to hit a key on a typewriter. That's about the amount of pressure it'd take. So very little.
I have broken middle fingers, and I didn't need to.
Right, that is correct, yeah. Our touchpads are very sensitive. If you watch us before a meet, right before the meet starts, we go through and test this system, and it's just a little light touch to make sure that they're registering.
What happens if in the middle of a race something happens and a timing pad just malfunctions?
So if you're in the middle of a race, if it fired for no reason, we try to identify why that happened, but we can always take that touch out before the athlete gets there, so that when they do get to the wall, we do register their proper touch.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about, this is a swim meet that, dreams are made and broken in hundredths of a second. How much is 100th of a second?
So people ask us that all the time. You know, you think maybe it's 3 feet, maybe it's micro, measurements and stuff like that. But 100th of a second is about 10 toothpicks.
10 toothpicks. So what is 1,000th of a second then?
Well, then that would be multiply that by.
So 1 toothpick?
Yeah. Right.
That's pretty intense. Right. And do you guys measure to the 1,000?
So our system can measure past the 100th of a second. The new system that we use is called Quantum, and it's one of the most accurate on the market. They say that the timer can time up to the millionth of a second even. But yeah, so we could go to the thousandths very accurately if we needed to, but FINA and IOC has decided, nope, we're sticking with the 100th of a second. That's what we're gonna do. If we have a tie, we have a tie. We'll just give out more medals.
But you actually know who actually won?
We could, but we don't. We only know to the 100th of a second because that's what we calibrate the system to at every race.
When you see that 100th of a second pop up, and that's a difference between a second and a third, or a first and a second, does your stomach churn a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. But we have very much confidence in our equipment since the 70s when we first instituted the touchpad in the water and stuff like that. It's been rock solid ever since. So it's easy to time when you have good equipment.
That's for sure. But you also have to have good people working with the good equipment. So I know it's not just you back here. How many people are back here doing all the timing?
So we have 7 on our team here in Omaha, top of the breed, best in the world that do what they do. It's not necessarily what they do as their day job. We have a couple IT consultants, a couple guys that work at a sign company, a couple guys that are software guys. One guy actually works at NASA. So you know, it's a well eclectic group of guys, but take this very seriously and have a lot of experience.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's good to know that the best are down here because we are at the 2020 Olympic trials. Matt, thank you so much for being with us. And there you go. When you see Pearson get first or second by 100th of a second, now you know exactly what's happening.
You know, there's something to be said about having that experience of showing up in the finals. We saw some, you know, flamboyance from Zach Harding in 2016, so we'll see what he's got coming back. And then you got some regular names there, some new contenders with Nick Albiero, Trenton Julian, and Gunnar Bentz, another guy returning from the 2016 final in the butterfly event.
And then watching that final, or the semifinal, the 200 fly last night, just really seemed like everyone wasn't showing their colors, but tonight they're going to. And you know, in that fly, it's all about touching the wall with the right timing, right?
Oh yeah, and especially that back half. You know, that third 50, who's gonna have the legs to make a move in the third 50 and then sustain it to the end? You gotta figure all these guys have put in enough training. They're gonna be there in the final 25 meters, but who's gonna have that little snap just to win the race?
And that back half's where the crowd comes in. But we're gonna start tonight off with the men's 100 freestyle, where we had 12 guys this morning go under 49 seconds and 48. Now they have to really do what they need to do to get top 8, huh?
This is fast swimming, and that's the first event out of the gates. That men's 100 freestyle, we're gonna see 7 of the top 15 Americans all time in this event competing in those 2 races. And I mean, you got a lot of familiar names there, but I wanna point out 2 youngsters, including Jack Alexey. He set the 17-18 national age group record this morning, 48.69 at 18 years old.
That's so fast.
And then right behind him, Arsenio Bustos, number 5 all time at 49.03. We're gonna see both those guys. I think they're in semifinal too. And also some young blood there out of Brooks Curry, 48.23. He's number 4 out of prelims. I don't know what to expect in this race, but it's gonna be blazing.
And then you have one of my favorites, the 200 breaststroke, a lot of 210s this morning, kind of getting to this semifinal again, trying to volley up for the next top 8 spots.
Well, as we saw in 16, if you were top 8 coming out of semifinals, you're probably gonna make it back. So we're gonna see a lot of familiar names there, and look for, again, a lot of fast racing here. This Olympic team is gonna be great.
It's awesome. So get your USA swimming gear on, make sure this crowd gets fired up. Let's check out our sponsors.
All right, always cool to hear what's happening with the men's events as well. And when we were talking with Matt, I want to be clear, when we were talking about toothpicks, we were talking about not this way of the toothpick, this way with the toothpick. That's how small of a margin that is. So think about that next time you go to a restaurant and you pick your teeth. You're picking your teeth with someone's Olympic dream. So there's that. We've also got some more Olympic dreams that are going to happen tonight. Let's go ahead and show you what we're going to have on deck on NBC for you tonight. We have got a lot of great swimming, starting with that men's 100 freestyle semifinal that they were talking about earlier. Again, star-studded event right there, as well as the women's 200 freestyle final. We're going to pick 4 women to be on our Olympic team. We've got the men's 200 butterfly final, the women's 200 butterfly semifinal, the men's 200 breaststroke semifinal, and that's going to go into the women's 200 individual medley final, and then the women's 1500 freestyle final. Remember, we have got Katie Ledecky swimming 2 events within an hour, so it's going to be amazing. Go to NBC, watch Olympic trials, and then come back here, and we will wrap it all up for you on the Golden Road. The last session brought to you by Golden Road Brewing. Until then, enjoy the finals. Go Team USA. I'm Amy Van Dyken. We'll see you later.